G'day there everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Now in this deep dive, we're going to take a look at how we can create our very own search vertical inside of Microsoft 365 to give your users a really more streamlined and dedicated vertical to be able to find information that they're looking for. As we know, finding information quickly and easily is one of the key pain points of any SharePoint environment. So let's set the scene a little bit here. G'day there, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to jump in and let you know of a little project that I have just launched called SharePoint Search Templates. Now, over many years, I have developed and created and implemented many search experiences for organizations around the world. And part of that is enhancing the look and feel and the user experience of the search results. Now, that involves creating templates, changing the way and the visual representation of your search results, and now these are available as templates for you to jump on and do the same thing in your environment. So head over to SharePoint Search Templates. You can have a look at the templates that are there. There are going to be bundles as well available, so head over there, pop your email address in as well, and you can stay updated with all the new templates that I do release. So go and check it out. Now back to the deep dive and get things set up. So what I've got in this tenant is a content type that I've called Copilot Policy. Now, I've created this as part of the content type hub or the content type gallery at the tenant level. So that means that any site across our tenant, our organization, can consume, or this content type can be added to any document library. Now, very, very simple content type here. It's called Copilot Policy, and I've got a site column that I've created for this content type called Policy Category. Now, I've already gone ahead and I've created a document library here called Policies. I've added that content type to the library so we can see new Copilot Policy. I've got a few documents in here already. You can see here the policy category that's been populated and the metadata has been set. So we've got all the underlying framework ready to go. So what that means is that policy content type can actually be added to any document library across your entire organization. And what we're going to set up here is a search vertical that then aggregates and pulls together any policy document using that policy content type in any site that you have in your organization. Now, where do we go to set this up? Well, we go into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and there is a section under Settings called Search and Intelligence. Now you can see here, I'm on the home page. Welcome to the Microsoft Search and Intelligence Center. Now, under customizations here, what we can see is we've got this verticals blade. Now, if we have a look at what is there out of the box, we can see that we've got all of these different types of content verticals. Now here, if I go and do a search just on something, we can see that these are what we call verticals, and they appear across the top here as tabs. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create our very own tab or vertical called Policies that is dedicated and scoped to the policy content type. So let's jump back into the Search and Intelligence Center, and we're going to go Add. Now, we're going to name our vertical. So I'm going to call this Copilot Policies, Copilot being the name of my organization, and I'll hit Next. Now, you can see here that we need to select a content source. Now, I'm going to select SharePoint as our content source, and here is where we put in our KQL query here. All right. So and down the bottom here, we've got queryable properties, and I can search for, let's say, content type here. And we're going to be able to say if content type equals Copilot Policy, then give me the results. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say content type, I'm just going to say contains Copilot Policy, because remembering Copilot Policy is the name of our content type, and that's what we want to query here. So content type and Copilot Policy. I'm going to click Next. And here we've got the ability to also add our filters. So this means if we remember back to what I've got at the Copilot Policy document level here, I've got a category here. Now, I've mapped this this column to what we call, or this property to what we call a managed property. Now, I'll have another video that's probably going to appear up the top there that will link to how we map a crawled property to a managed property so that we can use that property in our search. So you can see here that I've got refinable string, and what I've done is I've mapped that policy category column to this refinable string here. You can see I've got OWS policy category. I've got an alias of policy category here. So what that means is I can use that property now in my search. So if I go back, and just to give you an example, if I go back to here and go policy category contains, let's go governance, and I'll hit search, what I can see is that I've got any document that has been classified with governance using that policy category column. All right. So I know that that's now working, but I don't want users to be able to have to enter in that. So let's continue on here. So I'm going to now add a filter. Now I can then search for refinable string. So I'll search for refinable string, and I want to choose 03, and I'm going to click next. And you can see here that we get the option to choose a display name. So I'm going to say policy category, and we can see we can select an interface. We either use a single select or we can choose a multi-select. So I'll choose multi-select in this instance, and I'll hit OK. So now we've got our filters all set up. I'll click next. I get a review of my vertical settings, and I can go in and change it if I need to. Now I'm going to go and click add vertical. That's going to create that for me, and that vertical in a few minutes after I enable it will then appear in as a vertical in the Microsoft 365 or the SharePoint out of the box search experience. So what we'll do is we'll just wait, or you can see here that we've got that, and it's been published at this time, who it's been published by. I can jump in and edit that if I need to as well. Now, this does take a few minutes just to make that appear. So give us a sec, we'll pop back, and then we'll have a look at what that experience looks like in the Search Center. All right, so we've given that a few minutes now, and I'm now in the Microsoft 365 or SharePoint Search Center. You can see that we've got our verticals across the top, and what has now appeared is our Copilot policies vertical, or our tab. Now, I did put a little emoji at the front of it. I just went back in and changed it and whacked a little emoji in there just to give it a little bit of a UI enhancement there. So when I click on this vertical now, what we can see is that the documents that are of that content type of Copilot policy are now going to appear, and our search and our results are now scoped to that content type. You'll also see that we've got a filters option here now too for policy category. And when I drop this down, you can see that I've got the option to say, I want to see just the policies that have been tagged with governance, or because I selected multiple select options here, I can say I want human resources and risk management, and I can apply that. And now I've got the ability to filter my policies in this search vertical as well. Now, what we can also do is that means we can get a direct link to that particular tab or that vertical as well. So if I click on Copilot policies, what I could do is I could grab this URL then, and I could link to that from anywhere on any SharePoint site. So if I copy this now, and if I go across to let's say our intranet. So I'm just going to jump over to our intranet. And what we can then also do is say, let's edit the global navigation. And what we might do just here, I'm going to pop in the link to that search, and the display name, I am going to say policy search. What we might even do is just give this again another little emoji. So I'm just going to pop this up. I might put a search, grab our magnifying glass, and hit OK. And then I'll scroll down, I'll save this. And now what we'll have is a link I'll go back to the home page. I'll click on the home page. There we are there. And I'll click on policy search. And now I've got a direct link to that scoped search of our policies in the search center. Again, I can just do my search on here. I might just go social. I'll go social media. Let's go social media. And I'll hit enter, and there I've got my social media policy search for based on that particular content type. So there we go, a deep dive into Microsoft 365 or SharePoint search and how we can add our own custom verticals to that search center as well. So I hope that brings some value. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.